So anyway, let's get started quick before it goes down again. Agenda item 8, application number 2020/0931, Shopping Centre, Carlton Square, Carlton. Application for new boundary treatment along Station Road, new facade to existing buildings, etc. Page 78 of your agenda paper, and I have already stated our collective non-pecuniary interest in this item. If Nigel Bryan would like to introduce this application for us.
Thank you, Chair. Alterations to the site will include enhancing the public realm in terms of new paving and street furniture to the central walkway and to the front of units to Burton Road. Furthermore, elevation treatments will be enhanced through alterations to the facade of the building, including new shop front to the car park, entrance of farm foods, render and fascia panels on otherwise blank brick walls, and improved boundary treatments, all of which are considered to enhance the character of the area and the customer experience. There will just need to be update condition 4 that's outlined before you. Currently, it identifies that they can't have any gates to the Station Road service yard. However, the applicants would want some form of gate for security reasons. Having approached the Highway Authority, they are content that this would be acceptable subject to the gates being open or delivery yard is in use. Therefore, we're proposing to amend condition to the following. The hereby approved gates at the entrance to the Station Road service yard shall remain in an open position at all times when the retail units are trading or the delivery yard is in use. But in all other respects, the application is considered to enhance the character of the area and basically the customer experience of the retail units. So recommended approval as outlined on pages 82 and 83 with the updated condition that I've just ran through. Thank you, Chairman.
Okay, thank you very much. So the proposal application 2020/0931, alterations to the exterior of existing retail buildings in Carlton Square. I'll formally move the application and ask Councillor Wilkinson to second as Vice Chair.
Formally seconded, Chair.
I'll ask Kate to open the debate by running through the roll call of councillors.
Councillor Adams.
Yeah, thank you, Kate, and thank you, Chair. No issue with this addition of the ability to lock the gates. Very glad to see the wider development happening, and look forward to seeing it enhance the experience for the local shoppers. Thank you.
Councillor David Ellis.
Yeah, I'm glad to see the investment from the landowners and happy with the proposed improvements.
Thank you. Councillor Rachel Ellis.
Thank you. I see this as a very good proposal for this area, and I welcome it. Thank you.
Councillor Elwood.
Yes, happy to support the development as set out in the reports. Thank you.
Councillor Hope.
I'm happy to support this.
Councillor Keneally.
Yeah, I'm very happy to support this.
Councillor Lawrence.
Delighted to support this. It's been a long time coming.
Councillor Paling.
I agree with Councillor Lawrence. I fully support it. Thank you.
Councillor Scroggy. Councillor Scroggy.
Yeah, sorry, couldn't get my mic back on there. Yeah, happy with this, happy to sort it. Hope Carlton Hill Shop Precinct's next.
Councillor Wilkinson.
Thank you, Kate. Yeah, I mean, this is in my ward. As others have mentioned, development of this site is long overdue, and I'm very pleased to see this coming forward, and I'm happy with the proposal that has been made.
Sorry, Councillor Smith.
Very happy to support this. Thank you.
Councillor Truscott.
Excellent development. Very happy to support it.
Thank you. Would anybody like to come back?
You're all content? I move to the vote. Recommendation on page 82 of your agenda papers is to grant full planning permission subject to the conditions listed, plus the updated condition for the Nigel mentioned. I'll ask Kate to run through the roll call of councillors to record your vote.
Thank you. Councillor Adams.
4.
Councillor David Ellis.
4.
Councillor Rachel Ellis.
4.
Councillor Elwood.
4.
Councillor Hope.
4.
Councillor Keneally.
4.
Councillor Lawrence.
4.
Councillor Paling.
4.
Councillor Scroggy.
4.
Councillor Wilkinson.
4.
Councillor Smith.
4.
And Councillor Truscott.
4.
Thank you, Chair. That was carried.
Thank you very much. Let's move on to agenda item 9, application number 2020/0932, Shopping Centre, Carlton Square, Carlton. Application for erection of internally illuminated advertising, which you'll find on page 86 of your agenda papers. And I have already stated our collective non-pecuniary interest in this item. I'll ask Nigel to introduce it for us.
Thank you, Chair. The application is the direction of 4 adverts, 3 of which will be toward the top of the Farm Foods building, and the last will be on the pedestrian access from Station Road, near the DHB residential building. All the adverts are cited appropriately to respect the character of the area and residential amenity. There'll be no concerns with regard to public safety either. As a result, the application is recommended for approval as outlined on pages 89 to 91 of the committee report. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you very much. Proposal is number 2020/0932 for consent to erect advertisements in Carlton Square. I'll formally move the application as chair and ask Councillor Wilkinson to chair.
Formally seconded, Chair.
I'll ask Kate to open the debate by running through the roll call of councillors. Thank you, Kate.
Thank you. Councillor Adams.
4.
Inviting you to speak at the moment, Councillor Adams.
I picked it the wrong way. That'll teach me. No, absolutely fine. More than happy. I'm 4 in the future.
Thank you, Councillor David Ellis.
Nothing to add, thank you.
Councillor Rachel Ellis.
No further comment, thanks.
Councillor Elwood.
No further comment, thanks. Yeah.
Councillor Hope.
No comments, no.
Councillor Keneally.
I'm happy to support.
Councillor Lawrence.
Yeah, I'll support this. I was a bit disappointed at first to read about the reduction in parking places, but having read thoroughly, I can see why, so I will support it.
Councillor Paling.
I support the application.
Councillor Scroggy.
Yeah, no comments to make. Happy with it.
Councillor Wilkinson.
No additional comments.
Councillor Smith.
Happy to support.
Councillor Truscott.
No additional comments. Happy to support.
Thank you. Anybody like to come back?
Okay, recommendation on page 89 of your agenda papers is to grant advertisement consent subject to the conditions listed. I'll ask Kate to run through the roll call of councillors to record their votes.
Thank you. Councillor Adams.
Yes, 4.
Thank you. Councillor David Ellis.
4.
Councillor Rachel Ellis.
4.
Councillor Elwood.
4.
Councillor Hope.
4.
Councillor Keneally.
4.
Councillor Lawrence.
4.
Councillor Paling.
Sorry, I couldn't unmute myself then. 4.
Councillor Scroggy.
4.
Councillor Wilkinson.
4.
Councillor Smith.
4.
Councillor Truscott.
4.
Thank you. That was carried.
Okay, thank you very much. On to item 10, application number 2020/0938, Shopping Centre, Carlton Square, Carlton. Application to reconfigure existing car parking, etc., which you'll find on page 94 of your agenda papers. And I've already stated our collective non-pecuniary interest in this item. And I'll ask Nigel to introduce this item for us.
Thank you, Chair. The application proposes alterations to the car park and access arrangements. A new access will be created to Burton Road to separate the delivery vehicles and customer cars. Linked to this, the car parking spaces will be rearranged and greater emphasis placed on the permeability of the site with regard to pedestrians. as well as more planting proposed. The alterations are considered to enhance the character of the area and user experience of the site, and in respect of highway safety, appropriate visibility can be achieved at both access points and the highway safety would not be detrimentally impacted. As a result, the application is recommended for approval as outlined on pages 98 to 100 of the agenda. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you very much, Nigel. The proposal is number 2020/0938 for permission for alterations to the car park and access to the site. I'll formally move this application as chair and ask Councillor Wilkinson to second as vice chair.
Formally seconded, Chair.
And I'll ask Kate to open the debate by running through the roll call of councillors. Thank you, Kate.
Councillor Adams.
Nothing to add.
Councillor David Ellis.
Nothing to contribute. Thank you.
Councillor Rachel Ellis.
No additional comment, thanks.
Councillor Elwood.
No additional comment. Thank you, yeah.
Councillor Hope.
Can I just ask one question of the officers? The number of car park spaces goes from 95 to 65. That's a pretty big reduction. Is it not going to have any negative impact?
Within the local plan, there's a policy that would identify the amount of car parking spaces that would be required based on the floor area of the actual retail units, and based on that, the provision was excessive, really, and now it's still comply with the policy within the local plan. So, we're content that there won't be any short supply of parking provision.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Councillor Keneally.
No additional comments.
Councillor Lawrence.
Some of you may have noticed that the comment I made in voting for the motion, the last motion, was the one I should have made voting for this one. Sorry. So I'm for.
Councillor Paling.
No further comment.
Councillor Scroggy.
No further comments.
Councillor Wilkinson.
No additional comments.
Councillor Smith.
Thank you. No, I was just going to comment similar to what Councillor Hope said of the reduction from 95 to 65, and I wondered whether that had been taken into account with the business plan to regenerate the area. But I'm satisfied with the answer, so we'll be voting for it.
Councillor Truscott.
No, I've got nothing further to add, Kate.
Thank you. Anybody want to come back? Okay, thank you.
Recommendations on page 98 of your agenda papers to grant full planning permission subject to the conditions listed. I'll ask Kate to run through the roll call of councillors to record their votes.
Councillor Adams.
For.
Councillor Ellis. David Ellis.
For.
Councillor Rachel Ellis.
For.
Councillor Elwood.
For.
Councillor Hope.
For.
Councillor Keneally.
For.
Councillor Lawrence.
For.
Councillor Paling.
For.
Councillor Scroggy.
For.
Councillor Wilkinson.
Sorry, I just took my picture off there by mistake, but for.
Councillor
Hear me?
Smith. Yes, thank you. Councillor Smith.
For.
Councillor Truscott.
For.
Thank you. That was carried.
Thank you very much. Agenda item 11. Is everybody back who?
I'll just text Henry.
I think we have Councillor Barnes back, if he can confirm that he's here. I think we are waiting for Councillor Wheeler to rejoin.
I've just texted Councillor Wheeler to tell him, yeah, he's responded, so I expect him to be on any second now.
Thank you.
You back in?
Yeah.
Is everyone back?
Councillor Barnes is here, I think. Councillor Wheeler. Let's see.
Hello. Hello.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Item 11. Application number 2020/0667, land at Chase Farm, formerly Gedling Colliery. Application for the erection of 31 dwellings, which you'll find on page 102 of your agenda papers. And I'll ask Nigel to introduce this item for us.
Thank you, Chair. The application is the erection of 31 dwellings within the Chase Farm development. Currently, the site benefits from permission for the erection of 29 units. The changes will create a terrace of 3 properties, and 1 unit which was proposed to be detached will now be a semi. The overall layout will, however, largely remain the same, and the units will be a mixture of 2 and 2.5 stories in scale, with the majority facing outwards, save for a small number of units off a private drive. The modest increase in numbers will have limited impact on the character of the area. Residential amenity, e.g. overlooking and overbearing impacts, would be acceptable. As a result, the application is recommended for approval as outlined in pages 113 and 114 of the committee report. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Nigel. Proposal on number 2020/0667 for the erection of 31 dwellings at Chase Farm. I'll formally move the application as chair and ask Councillor Wilkinson to second as chair.
Formally seconded, Chair.
Thank you. I'll ask Kate to open the debate by running through the roll call of councillors.
Councillor Adams.
Nothing to add, thank you.
Councillor Peter Barnes. Councillor Barnes.
Nothing to add.
Councillor David Ellis.
Just to say that I'm pleased to see that the work's continuing on site. Thank you.
Councillor Rachel Ellis.
No comment to make, thank you.
Councillor Elwood.
No further comments.
Councillor Hope.
No further comment.
Councillor Keneally.
Nothing to add.
Councillor Lawrence. Councillor Lawrence, are you up? Councillor Lawrence.
Sorry, I thought I said no comment.
Councillor Paling.
Nothing to add.
Councillor Scroggy.
Nothing to add.
Councillor Wheeler.
Nothing to add, thank you.
Thanks. Councillor Wilkinson.
No further comments.
Councillor Smith.
Nothing to add, thank you.
And Councillor Truscott.
No, I've got nothing to add, Kate. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody want to come back? Okay.
No. Okay, recommendation is on page 106 of your agenda papers. Grant full planning permission subject to conditions listed. Kate, would you like to run through the roll call of councillors for me?
Councillor Adams. Sorry, Councillor Adams.
Sorry, yes. 4, sorry. Thank you.
Councillor Barnes.
4.
Councillor David Ellis.
4.
Councillor Rachel Ellis.
4.
Councillor Elwood.
4.
Councillor Hope.
4.
Councillor Keneally.
4.
Councillor Lawrence.
4.
Councillor Paling.
4.
Councillor Scroggy.
4.
Councillor Wheeler.
4.
Councillor Wilkinson.
4.
Councillor Smith.
4.
And Councillor Truscott.
4.
Thank you, Chair. That was carried.
Thank you very much. Agenda item 12, application 2020/0731, 13 Main Street, Calverton, single-storey rear extension, which you'll find on page 110 of your agenda papers. This application has been referred to full planning committee as the applicant is an employee of Gedling Borough Council. Now, the proposal is, as I said, 2020/0731, and I'll formally move it as chair and ask Councillor Wilkinson to second as vice chair, please.
Formally seconded, Chair.
And I'll ask Kate to open the debate by running through the roll call of councillors. Thank you, Kate.
Thank you, Councillor Adams.
Nothing to add.
Councillor Barnes.
Nothing further to say.
Councillor David Ellis.
Nothing to add.
Councillor Rachel Ellis.
No comment, thanks.
Thank you. Councillor Elwood.
No further comment.
Councillor Hope.
No comment other than to say it's in the conservation area, but it won't have any major impact as far as I can see.
Councillor Keneally.
Nothing to add.
Councillor Lawrence. Councillor Lawrence.
No comment.
Councillor Paling. Nothing further to add, other than I've just chosen on a peanut and I do apologise for coughing, fluttering.
Councillor Scroggy.
No comments.
Councillor Wheeler.
No comments to make, thank you.
Councillor Wilkinson.
No further comments.
Councillor Smith.
Nothing further to add, thank you.
And Councillor Truscott.
Nothing further to add, thank you.
Thank you. Would anybody like to come back? Okay.
Recommendation is on page 113 of your agenda papers to grant planning permission subject to the conditions listed. Okay, will you run through the roll call again, please?
Councillor Adams.
4.
Councillor Barnes.
4.
Councillor David Ellis.
4.
Councillor Rachel Ellis.
4.
Councillor Elwood.
4.
Councillor Hope.
4.
Councillor Keneally.
4.
Councillor Lawrence.
4.
Councillor Paling.
4.
Councillor Scroggy.
4.
Councillor Wheeler.
4.
Councillor Wilkinson.
4.
Councillor Smith.
4.
Councillor Truscott.
4.
Thank you, that was carried.
Thank you very much. Agenda item 13, application number 2020/0686. Recreation ground, Breckhill Road, installation of a children's climbing unit. You'll find this on page 116 of your agenda papers, and I've already stated our collective non-pecuniary interest in this item. The proposal, as I've just said, is number 2020/0686, and I will formally move the application as chair and ask Councillor Wilkinson to second as vice chair.
Formally seconded, Chair.
Thank you very much, and I'll ask Kate to open the debate by running roll call of councillors. Thank you, Kate.
Thank you, Councillor Adams.
Yes, thank you, Kate, and thank you, Chair. Just to say I'm really happy to see this here. The Friends of Breckhill have done an incredible amount of work. Friends of Breckhill Park have done an incredible amount of work to get this done. I used to live on Maitland Road as I was growing up, so I know this park incredibly well. And I'm really, really happy to see that they've finally, after all the fantastic fundraising they've done, and their first bit of equipment's about to go up. So excited to see what it turns into. Thank you very much.
Councillor Barnes.
Support the application.
Councillor David Ellis.
Nothing to say other than support it. Thank you.
Councillor Rachel Ellis.
Yes, it's good to see a recreation playground being refurbished. Thank you.
Councillor Elwood.
Yeah, happy to support the application. Thank you.
Councillor Hope.
4.
Councillor Keneally.
Yeah, I support this application.
Councillor Lawrence.
No comment.
Councillor Paling.
Very happy to support the application.
Councillor Scroggy.
No comments, Dad.
Councillor Wheeler.
Yeah, brilliant. I think it's fantastic that this come to plan. So yeah, it's got my full support. Thank you.
Councillor Wilkinson.
Yeah, I know this park very well. Used to take my daughter there when she was little, and she's now grown up. So it seems like a very long time that this has been overdue. So yeah, very happy to support.
Councillor Smith.
Massive congratulations to the Friends of Breckhill Park. I mean, we've all commented how tiring the current park is, and this is a huge benefit to the Woodthorpe residents and surrounding areas. So congratulations to them for getting the funding to do it. Be supporting it.
Thank you. Councillor Truscott.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with the last comments. Excellent development.
Okay, anybody like to come back? Okay, thank
The
you.
recommendation is on page 119 of your agenda papers to grant full planning permission subject to the conditions listed. I'll ask Kate to run through the list of councillors to record their votes.
Thank you. Councillor Adams.
4.
Councillor Barnes.
4.
Councillor David Ellis.
4.
Councillor Rachel Ellis.
4.
Councillor Elwood.
4.
Councillor Hope.
4.
Councillor Keneally.
4.
Councillor Lawrence.
4.
Councillor Paling.
4.
Councillor Scroggy.
4.
Councillor Wheeler.
4.
Councillor Wilkinson.
4.
Councillor Smith.
4.
And Councillor Truscott.
4.
Thank you. That was carried.
Okay, so now we move on to agenda item 15. Application number 2018/0817, the car park, North Green, Calverton, application to erect 20 bungalows, which you'll find on page 132 of your agenda papers. And I'll ask Mike Avery to introduce this item for us, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Members will recall that this application was considered by the Planning Committee in June 2019, and it was resolved to grant planning permission subject to the applicant entering into a Section 106 agreement with the Borough Council as local planning authority and with the County Council as local education authority for the provision of or financial contributions towards affordable housing, open space, education and a local labour agreement, and subject to the conditions listed and the reasons set out in the report. Since this resolution, the applicant has submitted a viability appraisal to demonstrate that the development would not be viable with policy compliant policy contributions. An independent viability appraisal has been commissioned by the Borough Council to determine whether the development with policy-based contributions would be viable, and if not, the level of contributions that can be delivered whilst maintaining economic viability. The independent assessor concurs that the development of the site with policy compliant contributions would not be viable. The key matter for consideration is therefore whether the development can be supported on the basis of significantly reduced contributions, and whether such development could be considered a sustainable development, the delivery of which is a key objective of national and local planning policies. Therefore, on balance, it's considered that notwithstanding the reduced levels of contributions towards affordable housing and open spaces, the scheme would aid housing delivery, which is one of the important aims of both local and national policy. In terms of the revised contributions, policy LPD 36 highlights that the Affordable Housing Supplementary Plan document confirms that a lower requirement of affordable housing contribution may be justified, providing there is sufficient evidence provided. I'm satisfied that this is the case. The affordable housing contribution will be added to the existing monies to deliver affordable housing provision in the borough. That's our recommendation. The Parks and Street Care have confirmed that the play area on Stonebridge Way is in need of refurbishment following recent vandalism, and the contribution would be expended there as a capital contribution. It is considered that an equitable distribution of the £21,234 between affordable housing and open space provision is appropriate in this instance. The development may, however, become viable in the future, and therefore it's considered that the Section 106 planning obligation should include a mechanism to allow for a review at an appropriate time. Chairman, I recommend that permission is granted in accordance with the report. Thank you.
Chair, could I just clarify, following on from Mr Avery's update there, the original resolution by members did not include a requirement to include the Nottinghamshire County Council with an education contribution. That was an error in the original report and that was verbally updated to members. So the Section 106 agreement is purely with the Borough Council for the matters that Mr Avery has outlined.
Thank you, Sarah. So the proposal 2018/0817 to challenge the level of developer contribution on affordable housing and open space. I'll formally move this application as chair and ask Councillor Wilkinson to second as vice chair.
Formally seconded, Chair.
Thank you, and I'll ask Kate to open the debate by running through the roll call of councillors. Thank you, Kate.
Councillor Adams.
Nothing to add, thank you.
Councillor Barnes. Councillor Barnes. I'll move on. Councillor David Ellis.
Thank you, Chair. I mean, like I imagine we all do, I regret this viability assessment and the conclusions it's reached. You know, we do Section 106 to get infrastructure money, and then the developers turn around and say it's not viable. But we've had the advice, so we're not in a position to question. So I will be supporting it, but with I suppose a slightly sour taste in my mouth. Thank you.
Councillor Rachel Ellis.
Nothing further to add.
Councillor Elwood.
Yes, I think I'd agree with Councillor Ellis in that regard. Reluctantly, I think I would support it. As you say, it's with reluctance, I think.
Councillor Hope.
Yeah, I read it through quite carefully, but there's a lot of information there. Could I just ask, I'm assuming then that what you're saying is the only contribution that the developer will make to the public realm is this 21,234. There will be no SIL money, and the Section 106 agreement with county, but there'll be no SIL money, no other Section 106 money supporting the community. Is that right?
The Section 106 contribution will be £21,234, and that will be split between open space provision and affordable housing, as I outlined earlier. Still is separate, so you know, the still liability would still need to be paid.
Oh, so the SIL money will still be paid?
That's correct, yes. That is non-negotiable.
Right, thank you. That does change it a little bit. Okay, yeah, thanks. I agree with the previous speakers. I mean, I think if developers are going to build in a community and make money out of it, I don't really support the concept of supporting the developer's profit, which is what we're doing, at the expense of the community's infrastructure, and you know that seems to me wrong. Section 106 money is there for a reason. Having said that, these are old people's houses, so probably the only impact on the village will be the doctor's surgery. But even so, in principle, I do object to us giving up money in order to maintain the profit of the developer, which, reading through, is clearly what we're doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Keneally.
No further comments.
Thank you. Councillor Lawrence.
Yes, I would echo Councillor Councillor David Ellis's comments. It's very disappointing when this sort of thing happens, but when you've got an independent valuer who says that it's true, there's not much we can do about it. So I, like David Ellis, will be sourly supporting this, but I am pleased to see the mechanism. So I look forward to coming back in 48 months to find out that, oh no, wait a minute, that's after the next election, isn't it? To find out that they've made a stonking profit and we can get some more money out of them.
Councillor Paling.
I think I concur with Councillor Lawrence on all of that. Thank you.
Councillor Scroggy.
Yeah, no comment to make.
Councillor Wheeler. Councillor Wheeler.
No comments to make apart from I concur with what Councillor Paling has said and Councillor Ellis. Thank you.
Councillor Wilkinson.
Yeah, I share the frustrations that others have expressed about the loss of Section 106 money here. And to paraphrase a certain well-known reality TV star, it is with regret that I will be supporting the recommendation.
Okay, Councillor Barnes. Councillor Barnes there. No, Councillor Truscott. Oh, sorry. Okay, thank you. Councillor Truscott.
Yeah, well, I obviously agree with what's already been said by Councillor Ellis and Councillor Hope and others that, you know, I really object to agree to this. And I think the 20,000 that they're offering us for affordable housing and open spaces is really pretty pathetic, considering that there's a several £1 million development. But as has been pointed out, there is a mechanism in there, hopefully, in the future to claw some of this back.
Okay. Anybody else like to come back? Okay, thank you.
The recommendation is on page 135 of your agenda papers to grant full planning subject to the conditions listed. Kate, if you'd like to run through the Board of Council.
Councillor Adams.
4.
Councillor Barnes.
Yes, 4.
4.
Thank you. Councillor David Ellis.
4.
Councillor Rachel Ellis.
4.
Councillor Elwood.
4.
Councillor Hope.
4.
Councillor Keneally.
4.
Councillor Lawrence.
4.
Councillor Paling.
4.
Councillor Scroggy.
4.
Councillor Wheeler.
4.
Councillor Wilkinson.
4.
Councillor Smith.
4.
Councillor Truscott.
4.
Thank you. That was carried.
Okay, thank you very much. Agenda item 16, reference number 0202/2019, 84 Sandford Road, Mapley. Breach of planning control, unauthorised fence and boundary treatment, which you'll find on page 210 of your agenda papers. Okay, the proposal under reference number 0202/2019 to enforce removal of unauthorised fence. I'll formally move this proposal as chair and ask Councillor Wilkinson to second as vice chair.
Formally seconded, Chair.
I'll ask Kate to open the debate by running through a roll call of councillors. Thank you, Kate.
Councillor Adams.
No comment, thank you.
Councillor Barnes.
No comment.
Councillor David Ellis.
No comment.
Councillor Rachel Ellis.
No comment.
Councillor Elwood.
No comment.
Councillor Hope.
Nothing to add.
Councillor Keneally.
Nothing to add.
Councillor Lawrence.
This is the appropriate thing to do in this case. We get too many of these.
Councillor Paling.
Sorry, it wouldn't unmute. No comment.
Councillor Scroggy.
No comment.
Councillor Wheeler,
No further comment, thank you.
Councillor Wilkinson,
No additional comments.
Councillor Smith,
Nothing further to add.
Councillor Truscott.
I basically agree with what Councillor Russ just said.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else like to come back? Okay. Thank you.
You consent to move to the votes. The recommendation is on page 214 of your agenda papers, that the Assistant Director, Planning and Regeneration be authorised to take all enforcement action necessary. I'll ask Kate to run through the roll call of councillors to record their votes, please.
Councillor Adams.
4. Thank you.
Councillor Barnes.
4.
Councillor David Ellis.
4.
Councillor Rachel Ellis.
4.
Councillor Elwood.
4.
Councillor Hope.
4.
Councillor Keneally.
4.
Councillor Lawrence.
4.
Councillor Paling.
4.
Councillor Scroggy.
4.
Councillor Wheeler.
4.
Councillor Wilkinson.
4.
Councillor Smith.
4.
And Councillor Truscott.
4.
Thank you, Chair. That was carried.
Thank you very much. Agenda item 17. I see light at the end of the tunnel. Report to committee, future planning applications, which you'll find on page 215 of your agenda papers. That is for noting. Agenda item 18, planning delegation panel action sheet. 4th of September, page 217. 11th of September, page 219. 18th of September, page 221. 25th of September, page 223. 2nd of October, page 225. And 9th of October, page 227. Any comments or questions on any of those? Okay, agenda item 19. Any other items the chair considers urgent? I'd just like to thank you all for attending and participating in this rather overlong and demanding meeting. It's only leaves for me to say good night, stay safe, and I would say have a safe journey home, but probably most of you are at home now, but those who aren't, have a safe journey. Thank you all very, very much.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.